As the number of elderly continues to grow, our society is becoming more aware of the needs and responsibilities and rights of them. It's very important to understand the aging process and to remember that aging is not a disease, but it's part of the continuum of life. Hi, I'm Kathy Getrist, and today we're going to be talking about the psychological changes with age. Often people's view of the elderly has been formed by their perception as a child of elder grandparents and friends. When I look back on my childhood, I remember my grandparents as being very active. They drove a car, they had their own private homes, were involved in the church and other social events, had good health, and as a result, my view of the elderly was formed by those examples, and so I thought of the elderly from young times on as capable older folks. Your perception might be different if your knowledge of your grandparents was that they were in ill health, maybe were hard of hearing, maybe they were just grumpy much of the time. That might be your view of the elderly. The reality, however, is that the majority of elderly in this nation of ours are active and productive citizens who live and function independently. The attitude of the Western world toward old people tends to place them in positions of lesser and lesser significance. America generally, no surprise to any of us, is a youth-oriented society. Our culture does not practice the kind of recognition and respect many other societies bestow upon their elders. This emphasis on youth can be very painful for an aging population. A positive attitude towards older people is central to providing them with the very best care. There is what has been termed a gray tidal wave of people populating the earth. Some statistics bear that out. Worldwide, the number of people 65 and older will have increased 4 times between 1955 and 2025. It has been reported that in the United States alone, 76 million baby boomers will retire between now and the year 2050. If you remember, the baby boomers are the folks that were born in the 18 years after World War II. This trend towards an aging world population requires that caregivers be able to provide care that takes into consideration the changes that take place with the aging and the unique needs of the elderly individual. Psychologists in the 1950s, people like Maslow, Erickson, Jung, and others, supported the idea that emotional well-being and successful aging depended on the successful completion of a series of developmental tasks. In one of the other videotapes, the developmental tasks of the from infancy to older age are talked about. Today's focus will be on the developmental tasks of the elderly. Some of the developmental tasks are the adjustment to the aging process, accepting physical changes and loss. A successful adjustment results in the acknowledgement of the realities of aging. Another task is believing that life is important and meaningful. It's a time when the elder reflects on the meaning of their life. A third developmental task is accepting that things in the past cannot be changed and letting go of disappointments and regrets that they might have had. Sometimes you may have been with an elder person and they get on subjects that talk about mistakes that they think that they made earlier in life and don't seem to be able to get on with the fact that those past disappointments cannot be redone. One thing that frequently comes to mind is that the individual felt they spent too much time at the office, neglected their family, maybe were a little too hard on one of their kids. Only if I had bought that property, man, just think what that would be worth today. Some of those things need to be let go because the past cannot be redone. Another developmental task is the reviewing of life's successes and failures, a time when individuals try to determine how valuable their life has been as they approach death, which of course would be the final task. As a person grows older, there are psychosocial changes and losses that occur. The term psycho means emotional or mental process relating to our brain. And social means the ways of relating to people. Together, psychosocial refers to an individual's mental and emotional aspects of relating to others. Some of the psychosocial changes a person may experience as they grow older are retirement from work would be one. Retirement is a reward for a lifetime of hard work. For many people, this is a really exciting time and a pleasurable time. For others, it may not be so fortunate. Sometimes people are forced into retirement due to disability or chronic illnesses. Some have additional medical expenses that make enjoying retirement under these circumstances difficult. Personal satisfaction and usefulness result from working. Friendships develop from our day-to-day encounters with other people, co-workers. Some people need work for psychological fulfillment. Retirement can be hard on these folks where they put so much of their energies into their work life. This is especially traumatic for people who may not have developed other interests and have much of their self-image intertwined with their job. Many very successful presidents of corporations or folks that travel a lot who have spent the majority of their days, 8, 10, 12 hours of their day at the office, and have not gotten involved in volunteer or maybe have not made the connections with their family, find this extremely troubling to suddenly have all of those feelings of satisfaction that work provided for them removed. Retirement can mean less financial income. Many times the retirement income is much less than the working income. The monthly Social Security check may be the only money, and as we all know, that has not really been kept pace with the cost of living. Retirement and aging do not mean fewer expenses. The elder person on a fixed income still needs to pay for rent or mortgages. They need to pay for their food, their clothing, and mounting health care bills, not to mention the cost of prescription drugs. This reduced income can force changes in the elder individual. It might be moving to cheaper housing. It may be changing the kinds of foods that they